Well, hello there. This is another exciting episode of what? Raising the
Raising the
Cane.
Racing the
cane.
Yeah,
canes.
yes,
Yay!
yes, yes. I know it's been a while, a few weeks, so we're going to jump right in. We got a special guest today that's going to bless you. That's right, and inform you. So, anyway, we have Mr. Stephen Jones with us today.
All right.
Welcome
Welcome,
to
Steve.
Welcome.
Raising the Cane.
Yes.
Hello, thank
Oh,
you, thank you. It's glad to be here.
glad to have you. So, Stevie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? About your Genesis story. Your
Yeah, I can.
okay.
Every superhero has an origin, and my origin actually started with my travel agent business. I was going on a vacation with a travel agent that was through my then wife's job. Very personable person, really knew the ins and outs. However, once I got the deposit and I gave her the deposit and I started to ask any questions, about the actual vacation because I had never been on a cruise. Then the ghosting started.
Uh-oh.
I did
Oh.
not hear any emails, no text messages. There was literally no response. And it was very disheartening, to find out that any question that I had, who initially told me when she took my deposit that she was always available. I just had, many basic questions, especially, being out at sea. It was um, nerve wracking to say the least.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a lot of communication. So I was telling my then wife, like, hey, can you get a hold of this person? She tried emailing, calling, no, just absolutely nothing. So in my frustration, I decided to go to corporate and, just see if maybe I could, get some more information. They said, unfortunately, we can't deal directly with you if you're going through a travel agent. You have to deal with the travel agent. And I said, well, hey, that's the problem. The travel agent isn't contacting me. So I then decided to kind of look up what could I do in this case, since I didn't have any information. And they told me that I could actually transfer the vacation back to the cruise line directly. So
Hmm.
I then sent her an email, just letting her know that that's what I was going to do since, there were previously 5 or 6 emails and calls that were never returned. And magically, all of a sudden, she's available.
Mm.
Wow.
So once that happened, I got the questions that I needed answered, and I said, "Well, I'm still going to transfer it back to, directly to Carnival." So I had to fill out a form. Go ahead, sent that back, and my travel agent business actually started out of spite because I'm a very
Wow.
communicative person, and I knew that I could do this job better than this person who just gave me absolutely no response. So I just started reading up on how to be a travel agent and how to, just do the job better. And so, yeah, so that's how I ended up going into travel.
That's great.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So prior to becoming a travel agent, did was like traveling in your blood, or I mean, on a consumer level, or
Yes and no. So my previous job, when I worked in the music industry, I did a whole lot of traveling. Of course, that was on company dime, which is much different than spending your own money. So if you're
Right.
spending corporate money, you really don't care about how much things cost. It's just like, hey, we're just putting it on the company credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so at the age of 18, that was when I first got my very first passport. And I was traveling quite a bit with my job during that time. And then life just kind of happened. I
Mm-hmm.
traveled a bit. And then once I got out of that industry, I really didn't do much traveling for myself. But yeah, definitely the bug was planted at that point, and I just said, I need to see the world, and I just had to figure out how I was going to do it. So later on in life, that's when I decided that I wanted to start traveling more.
Now, in
okay.
terms of your business, as a travel agent, having experienced that frustrating and stressful ghosting experience, how do you go about establishing it? I mean, laying out your shingle, getting the licenses, and all the other connections you had to operate your own enterprise.
Um, well, just like anything in life, like I said, I'm very spite driven in some respects. When it comes down to business, I take pride in being very personable. I take pride in doing the best possible job that I can do for anything. So I just started doing a lot of researching on my off time and my 9 to 5. I'm just figuring out how to be a travel agent, what courses do I need to take, and what would be the best way for me to be the best travel agent that I could be. And I first found out the very first thing is you have to get out and you have to see the world, because there's a better experience of being an agent than to actually get out there and travel yourself. So the discounts definitely help, but more importantly, I need to be out there and I need to experience things so that way I can actually talk about it from a firsthand experience, because you don't want to send people into the world, across the world, without actually being there yourself. So I first started off with family and friends, just sticking to cruises mostly because that's kind of what I was used to, because that's what I did myself. And from there, I started traveling a lot more, started traveling, a lot across the world, and experiencing just many different kinds of vacations. And from there, things just kind of took off. And now I actually own my own franchise, which is amazing.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
That's good. Congratulations. So what places that you traveled, and what are some of your favorite locations?
Been to Brazil. That was probably one of my favorite places to visit. I love the Caribbean, Jamaica, Antigua, Barbados. Dominican Republic definitely has a very, very special spot in my heart. I was only in Iceland just for a couple days. I'm too fond of the cold. It was definitely an experience, but I was originally going to see the Northern Lights, but
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask that.
But unfortunately, they weren't able to be seen. So, that's just something I have to knock off my bucket list.
All right.
Okay.
So as a travel agent experience, what will be recommendations of tips that you could say for travelers that are hesitant to taking like cruise? Because I have a lot of friends that they don't say, oh, no, cruise is not for me. So what will be, the tips or recommendations that you will give, or why is it cruise good? I mean, why will it be better? I mean,
well, for me, I would say cruising is a great way to visit many places for lazy people, if that makes any sense. Because
okay.
Well, we're guilty then. Okay.
We're lazy.
You can visit quite a few places, just on one vacation. You can spend a day in Bermuda, then spend the next day in Nassau, and the next day in St. Thomas. So it's a good way to kind of get your feet wet. And for a lot of people who don't have passports, it's a good way to, experience these things and then decide if this is something that, they kind of want to get out there and see things on a more broader scale. And then I always suggest everyone get their passports at that point, just because it just makes everything so much easier. And I think I was watching the news and they said something like 65% of Americans now have passports, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
I think they definitely have one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maurice, I think you had a question. Or a statement.
In fact, what's the name of your franchise, Stephen?
It is Jones for a Vacation, because you're always jonesing for the next vacation. So that's our franchise.
So you want to keep up with the Joneses.
In this case, you want to keep up with the Joneses. Okay, that's what Maurice said. I was thinking the same thing. You want to keep up with the Joneses. So
we're on the same wavelength.
So what is your number one place of all the travels? Sounds extensive that your travels. Which is your number one?
Barcelona.
Oh,
Barcelona.
wow.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely
Barcelona.
fell in
What
love
makes
with.
Barcelona special for you?
For one, the weather. It's it's a very coastal Mediterranean town in Spain, so it's right on the southern tip of Spain. The food is great. The weather is absolutely great, and the people are very, very friendly. It just gave me a Euro California version.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would definitely
okay.
say very European LA city. Very beautiful.
Euro LA. You just coined a phrase there. We're gonna have to borrow that. Maurice,
But I
you've
mean,
been to Barcelona, didn't you?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
What is your experience?
We really enjoyed it as well. We enjoyed walking on Las Ramblas and checking out the various museums along the path. And we went to uh, Figueres, where Salvador Dali, the great surrealist, was born and where he is interred. And he has two museums there,
Mm,
one of which is dedicated to the jewelry that he designed.
wow.
And as Steve would know, there's so much in Barcelona proper in terms of the Joan Miro area. You got the statue of, I guess, the now controversial Christopher Columbus facing the
Mm,
Mediterranean. You
mm.
know, you got the Maritime Museum within walking distance of the statue. Yeah, and like Steve said, the food is marvelous. We enjoyed the tapas and the sangria, and we
Oh,
even caught a flamenco show. And there was even a classical guitarist at one of the fantastic Gothic cathedrals
Wow.
not far
mm,
from our hotel.
You know,
So thumbs up.
oh, go ahead, Maurice. Yeah, so thank you for Sandra and I desire to go to Barcelona. It is proper and in Spain itself.
yeah.
And we were supposed to go in 2019, but that was knocked off some kind of way. We
Mm,
chose packages and stuff to. It wasn't a cruise; it was flying over there and then getting on a bus throughout Europe. And that was one we always wanted to do. So that's on our bucket list. That's actually number one, right,
yes.
Sandra, on our bucket
Right.
list.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
So
our
it
next one.
so
And
it's a reason. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
yeah, I was gonna say one of the things that I really love about Europe is so easy to get around. Like it is extremely easy. There are multiple fast trains, there's buses, their taxi system is far superior than ours, but mostly with the subways and their high rail system, you can literally zip across Europe in, a few hours. 1 minute you're in Germany, next minute you're in Italy. You can
Yeah.
literally zip around back and forth between countries and cities. So that was definitely one thing I love. And the architecture, oh my God, the buildings were like
Hmm.
pristine, still in great condition. Just seeing
Yeah.
all the old architecture, and I'm a big sucker for doors.
Yeah.
Doors.
Big
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Please
cathedral.
explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the Doors, the rock group, but actual doors. Just architecture. I'm a sucker for architecture. I love the old world. Just the
What?
way that they
Yeah.
Mm,
paint a lot of the old world.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we saw like 1,000 buildings, 1,000 years old, 14th, 13th century or something. It's like, wow. And
London,
I know
yes.
you're not supposed to touch, but I had to touch one of them 1,000-year-old buildings. It was like
Yeah,
we were on the tour. I'm touching it. So yeah, it's
where
amazing.
Yeah, Steve, where have you not been that is on your list of places to personally visit and enjoy as a tourist and as someone who is gathering real world intelligence for your own uh, business as a travel agent?
Egypt. One
Egypt.
hundred.
Mm.
Hmm.
That is at the top of my list. I have to be there. I have to see Cairo. I have to, go down the river, Nile River. I need to see the pyramids for myself. I really need to see Egypt. Egypt is definitely at the top of my list.
All
Yeah.
right.
That was
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
old time favorite too. Yeah, but yeah, Egypt gonna have to come second to Spain though. But I always
Oh,
wanted
I
to see
want to
those
go to
pyramids.
Scotland.
Yep, go
Oh,
on,
Big.
Sandra. Explain to Stevie what you want to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would love to go to Scotland. It fascinates me, the castles, the history, the Iceland is another one, the Vikings, how we've been watching a lot of movies and I'm interested in all of that. The you were saying the Aurora Borealis. Oh, that's something that I would
Northern
love to
Lights.
see, the Northern Lights. So those are the few island. Yeah, Scotland will be the next one after Spain, I will say for me. And also, I would love to go to Peru, to the Andes. That's something that also amazed me,
Oh
how
yeah.
all
Yeah.
in the top of the mountain they have a civilization, and in the sky you can see this huge you know figures that it's a mystery why they had him that it can only be viewed by up in the sky. So those are kind of the ones that I would like to go. Ireland is another one, but and so on. But those are my first ones that I would love to go.
Yeah. I would
It is.
definitely like to go to those places.
And like you're in that in the traveling business, I think that people need to know that they need to see the world to be able to understand backgrounds, history, firsthand. And it is nothing like to understand how other cultures live. It enhances your understanding for other people, to see how they live and where they come from. It's just beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I always tell people, and I always send them a link to talk about the language, the culture, of whatever country that they're going to,
Mhm.
because we cannot bring America to these other countries. Just like when they come here, they have to respect our culture, and so I try
Mhm.
to educate people that you need to respect other countries' culture. Their
Yes.
Mhm.
language. Just like in Japan, tipping is, considered very rude, because they feel that because they pay their employees very well, tipping is considered,
An
you know,
insult.
an insult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
Mm.
Interesting.
they're tipping you to earn a living, but out there, it's considered an insult. And also, shaking hands. They don't really do a lot of touching.
Mhm.
So it's more of the polite, the bows, and
Mhm.
acknowledgement. And also, the number one thing about Japan is that they really do not like eating on the street. That is like one of the biggest no-nos. And talking on your phone loud in public, that's a no-no. That would definitely get you a lot of stares on the train if you're on your phone talking on the train. So, it's a very
Rude.
So
respectable.
Mhm.
what about just basic conversation on the train? That's
No,
okay or loud or
no,
no?
they just don't do it. It's just in their culture it's just considered rude, I guess, because they work so much, and that's a lot of times people's quiet time, to get their mind ready for work or wherever it is that they're going. Talking on the train is considered rude.
Interesting.
So that would be the boogeyman if they came here. Because that's a custom for us to
Yeah.
multitask. We call it multitasking.
But
And
see, that's the difference of people being very respectful. They believe a lot in honoring and
Yeah.
yeah.
service. So for them, I love certain ways of their culture. I was reading that since they're childrens and they're in the school, they are thought to clean. It's a communal. They don't have people to clean their schools. Their kids do it. They take turns,
Mm,
and therefore when they're outside they don't litter. If they have umbrellas outside for winter, for they keep them outside on the street. If somebody takes one, they return it back so that somebody else can reuse
mm.
it. So it's a high level culturally. I think that is really, really beautiful the way that they're teaching in that sense. There's other things that I don't agree, I don't particularly like, but overall, I think that is beautiful that they're teaching, you know,
That's
uh,
good.
yeah.
That's also
Agreed.
one of the main reasons why technology is so big out there.
Mhm.
Because they had to develop a system to be able to communicate with each other more effectively without talking, which is why technology, phones and texting is so big out there because they have to be very forward thinking in order to do less actual talking, which is completely
Okay.
different there.
So it's okay to, that's, you brought up a point, to sit down on a train or bus or wherever in Japan and text. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
they prefer that method of communication is very huge out there. As a matter of fact, when you get on the train, most people you'll see are texting,
Hmm.
doing things on their phone, making movies, editing, because a lot of them, because they spend so much time on the trains, a lot of them are working. So yeah, so they do a lot of things very quietly and very efficiently.
Okay, so as long as you're not making noise and any volume to anyone else, it's okay to do whatever. What? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nice to know. Nice to
Mhm.
know.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good tip.
Stevie, what is your demographics of your customers, like income wise, like gender, just total demographics? If you could paint a picture for us.
Yeah.
I would say mostly 35 to 54. So these are people who have children. So I get people from all walks of life, various incomes, but most people just want to escape. They pretty much say, "Hey, Steve, here's my budget. This is what I'm looking to do." Then you have some people who may be, this may be their first time out of the country. So they're very, very scared to kind of travel. So, I kind of put them at ease, I give them options. But most people have disposable income and they're tired of being in the house. Um, they're just tired of the regular monotony. They want to let their hair down and actually relax and come back refreshed. So I would say,
Okay.
yeah, definitely 35 to 54.
Okay.
Probably, I would say 45 to 125K.
Okay.
Okay. That's a
So,
nice spread there.
yeah,
Mhm.
That's their annual income.
yeah. These are people who definitely have disposable income. They're tired of going to the movies. They're tired of, just doing the same old things. They want a little more excitement in their life.
Okay.
Now, and is there uh I know it could vary obviously because you have got a diverse client base, but are there particular foreign destinations that are uppermost and or most popular with the folks that you've served,
Uh,
or have advised over the years?
yeah, I would say Cancun and Jamaica,
Cancun
because
and Jamaica. Okay.
those are places where number one, your American dollar can go very far. Because
Okay.
most people are on a budget, they want something affordable, but they also want the best bang for their buck.
Yeah.
Cancun is a
Yeah.
very beautiful place. If you're from LA, we're talking about a 5 hour flight.
Mhm.
Could be nonstop. Most people, want to go nonstop. So it's, 4.5, 5 hours. And then, of course, Jamaica, your money can go very far. A lot of people who want to connect with the Caribbean diaspora, really want to visit Jamaica and kind of revisit their roots. So it's a good kind of connecting place to kind of broaden out and see a lot more of the world. You can stop in either Atlanta or Miami, and fly from there to Jamaica. And Jamaican people, they're so humble, they're hospitable, and because these countries run on tourism, they need our dollars.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah.
really do need dollars, and especially with the American economy, kind of coming back. They really embrace us and they treat us well, and they want you to come back. They want you to tell your friends all about these destinations.
Yeah, I was
Now,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, just to piggyback on the Jamaican aspect in that
Uh-huh.
when you're there in Jamaica itself, and there's a tendency here in the United States to assume that everybody's listening to Bob Marley and his kids, Ziggy, 24/7. So when you're there, what are people listening to? Whether you're listening to them on the streets or maybe overhearing radios or Spotify, what are some of the what are some of the genres and artists that contemporary Jamaicans are listening to in a post Marley Caribbean world?
Ironically, they're listening to the same things here.
All right.
Lil Baby.
So they're looking for diversity too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because they're from a younger generation.
Mhm.
And cell phones, you can pretty much have access to everything right there.
Yeah.
So we're on the outside looking in; they're on the inside looking out. So they look at American culture as something that they want to kind of gravitate towards, and how can they
Okay.
be American in Jamaica? Because unfortunately, a lot of Jamaicans don't get to make it out of Jamaica. Um, so they look at our culture as something that they want to try to emulate, but also, you have a lot of their parents who, want them to assimilate into full Jamaican culture. So it's how can I bring the outside in, but at the same time, be myself at the same time. So yeah, they like a lot of the same things like here.
All
It's
right.
good.
So in Jamaica, if I go to you and I will say I would love to go to the Jamaica, what will be the places that you recommend in Jamaica?
Good question.
Yeah.
I would honestly say Negril. Negril is a good place. So you can kind of go out because Jamaica's a fairly small country. You can pretty much go everywhere, because you'll either land in Montego Bay or Hanover.
Mhm.
Montego Bay, pretty much everything is away from Montego Bay. So there's a few things in Montego Bay, but I would say Negril is a good jumping off point. It's probably 30 minutes to an hour from everywhere that you kind of want to go
Oh.
in Jamaica. So you can go to the falls. I've
Ooh.
been to Dunn's River, which is an amazing river rafting experience. You have St. Anne's Parish, which is a really nice parish. So I mean, it's a lot of things to do, but I would say
Mhm.
Negril is probably a really good jumping off point to
Mhm.
exactly what you want to do.
So
It's
then
funny.
from
Okay.
there
Go
you
ahead.
took you take that like side tourists to go to these areas. Okay.
Yeah,
Now
no,
you may y- Mhm.
I don't um I don't use the cruise line people. I always use local tourists at all times. I personally vet them, because like I said, because I travel, I get to meet a lot of travel vendors. So I get to
Mhm.
know personal level. I want to make sure that my clients have the best experience that they can have and have a
Mhm.
real experience in the native country. I don't want them to have a no pun intended, a whitewash version of where
Yeah.
they're going to have the real experience to
Well,
say that I got to
Mhm.
experience the culture.
yeah, that's what we when
Yeah.
we went to Europe, we used Trafalgar, and but what they did was they subcontracted out to the local tour people. They did what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so we had the firsthand version of what is this. It could be a church, it could be a statue, it could be some architecture or buildings or just the local people, the natives, so to speak. And so I see tremendous value in that approach, what you're doing, because it's authentic. And Sandra, you had
Yeah. Yeah.
No, what I was saying is that so what will be the difference between Carnival and you? What is it that you offer that that we can tell our people who are listening? Go to
Yeah.
Stevie because he has this, and that for you better than if you go to the regular. So what will be those things?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So, first of all, because I am with a franchise, I can usually offer the exact same rate that you would get, if you went directly to Carnival's website, if not better. And I
Mhm.
also offer all my clients, personal experience, and also extra onboard credit you're going to a location, you're going to get extra perks with the travel agent. So you get the same price, if not better, with me than going direct. And you also get that personal touch because, when you're calling a Carnival or a Norwegian or a Royal, you're going to get a different person every time. You're not going to have an actual person who knows all about what you're trying to do, how you're trying to do it. That's going to spend that personal time to make sure that you're going to have the best experience. Because, I live by referrals. To me, the referral is the best way that you can say thank you, and so that is how my business grows so much, is by referrals. I get a lot of referrals.
Now, and then does that also entail that you also have the repeat business? Let's say you have clients that have used you for different trips and excursions.
I can honestly say I have not had a single client who has not booked with me again. Like,
that's great.
Oh, 100%
Wow.
rate. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
I have
great.
repeat,
Yes.
and they tell
Exceptional.
their friends. And just fairly recently, I am now the official travel agent for Fontana School District.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Fontana School District? Wow.
Yeah.
How did you
That's
get
awesome.
that? How did that happen?
Funny thing, one of my clients is, the head over there, and schools and trips, they have a lot of business trips. They have a lot
Right.
of just different things that the students and also the teachers may need, and they wanted someone reputable, someone who obviously is licensed and insured, which is that's really big. And also, people, make sure your travel agent is insured, because if anything goes wrong, you need to make sure that your travel agent can make you whole again.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's a good tip
That's a
for
great.
people.
That's significant.
yeah. So I have the money to back me up to say, hey, look, this is my reputation. I stand by it. I'm licensed and bonded, and just give me a chance.
And and just
Great.
for our listeners out there, as we know you're aware, we've got people all over the world listening. That Fontana Unified School District, that's one of the largest school districts in Southern California, and it's in San Bernardino County, which is the largest county, not only in California,
In the world,
but in the
right? And
United
not the
States
word
of
the United
America.
States. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting that exclusive arrangement with the Fontana Unified School District is not only a testament to yourself and
Yes.
to your own prowess and your experience and erudition, but when you think about it, you're representing a considerable part of the educational establishment. So that's another round of applause
Kudos.
and confetti to
Yes.
you. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Kudos to you. Congratulations for that. Wow.
And
Wow.
it's just
So
me. I'm a one man band. I'm
one man band.
doing it all. I'm definitely looking to expand out in the future. But for now, it's just me and my brain, and we're just just making sure people have a good time. They come back safe. I check on my clients all the time. I make sure their vacation's going good. If they have any questions, or if anything's going wrong, they can let me know, and then I'll contact, the hotel. So, I can take the stress off of their hands.
that's
And
great.
right now you're doing only with cruise, or you also have other for
Like,
travel agents, like tours or fly, or so
Yeah,
is it
so that's a really, really good question. And this is where you have to pivot. Once COVID came, and the industry completely shut down, especially cruises, because ships were literally dead in the water. Like, there were no cruises, no one was really doing anything. So I had to pivot really quick, because that's where most of my initial business was. And I figure, how can I be the best agent? Because I know the business is going to come back. So I need to be ready. So what I did was I put a lot into marketing. I spent quite a bit of money to market myself, on Google and Yelp and, Nextdoor, things like that, Instagram. to really kind of set my presence up so that way when people are comfortable and they're ready to vacation again, because the news was not very friendly towards cruises when COVID happened, because there
Right.
was quite a few different outbreaks that happened on ships. So
Mhm.
a lot of my business were people who had cruises on the books, and because they couldn't cruise, their money was still with the cruise line. So I can honestly say I didn't have one person who wanted a refund. They were all just like, we'll wait till something else comes up, or let's rebook it out for 2023, 2024, once things, kind of die down. So I thank God for that. That was a huge part of my business. Was I didn't lose the business. I just had to refocus it to other kinds of travel. And so now, ironically, cruising is not my number one business anymore.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It is now all inclusives and group trips. So I
Okay.
Oh.
girl trips, guy trips, so I'm focusing more on the bigger fish. So more and more people want to go to all inclusives and just
Mhm.
fly across the world and get a hotel, rather than cruising. So yeah.
Now, in terms of all inclusive, and I know it perhaps is self-explanatory, but in many ways, but in terms, let's say if somebody is a neophyte to the travel experience, how would you define an all-inclusive type of situation?
Mhm.
Question.
That is a good thing. I would say it depends on if you're going with a family or if you're going solo. So the first thing is to kind of figure out what type of vibe do you want. Are you ready to turn up? Are you like celebrating a birthday? Are you just wanting to let your hair down? There are, all inclusives that are more focused on that are more single orientated, where there's a lot more events and things like that going on, pool parties, foam parties. Um, and
Hmm.
then you have people who want, who are going with their family, they may be taking their kids and their husband. So,
Mhm.
something kid friendly so that they can still have fun as adults, but also the kids can, go somewhere during the daytime and be around other kids and be social. So
Okay.
it really varies what type of all inclusive that they go to. But the good thing about all inclusives, and I tell everyone, is just be prepared to just the only money you're really going to spend is tips, unless you do excursions, things like that, because um, just like anything else in life, you're going to have to go to different bartenders, find out who's got the best drinks, slide them a buck,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, you're asking questions about, the location, because the bartenders are always going to know where the best food is, because resort food, it can be good, but 99% of the time you can find something better outside the resort. So, get to know your bartenders, they'll tell you where the best food is.
Okay.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're still relying on the locals to help direct
Oh yeah.
entertainment and fun activity and what have you.
So,
So
do you provide discounts, for instance, if like retirees? Right now, I'm in that group now. I'm retired, and we've been talking with other retirees, and they said, "Well, we need to start traveling, so we want to get a group together. What will be the things that we will need to do? Is there a discounts available? What is it that you will recommend?"
Yeah, so sometimes there are discounts for retirees,
Mm-hmm.
but more importantly, it's cheaper if you group them together. So the more people, the merrier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Down
Hmm.
to groups, and a lot of times, and this is what I tell people, because I'm a good business person and not a bad business person. I usually tell people, hey, if you can get a group together, because usually if you do an all inclusive or a group, you can get what's called tour conductor credit. So basically, if you get, let's say, 8 cabins together, or
Mm-hmm.
8 different rooms together,
Mm-hmm.
one person can go for free. So I say, hey,
Oh,
why don't you get the group together? I'll do a presentation for them. I do all the selling. You don't need to do anything. And if you can get the group together, let's get you to go for free. So my goal with the group is always to get
whoa.
the leader to go for free.
We
So
love free. We love free.
We love
Yeah.
free. We love free.
So, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you woke us up.
Yes.
Yeah.
We woke.
I,
We
I want
woke.
money that, of that extra person. I mean, I could take that money, but why not reinvest it in the person who brought it all together? It's
Yeah.
an
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
So
Yeah.
you do your presentation like we're doing now, Zoom or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Zoom presentations, phone presentations,
Presentations.
kind of
Okay.
do it.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
So Stevie, how long you been in the business?
Yeah.
Whew, I am pretty seasoned now. I am actually 8 years in. I started
Okay.
off on the hosting side where I was actually under another person. Just kind of getting my feet wet, and of course, the financial barrier was much lower than actually buying your franchise. Um, so I've been doing it for 8 years. I've been a franchise now for 2 years. I just had an
Yeah.
anniversary 9/11.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
But I did realize I was losing a lot of money. I was leaving a lot of money on the table because it's a much bigger split with
Mm,
corporate.
mm.
So if you want
Yeah.
a lot, it just makes sense to just dive in and pay that money for your franchise because you're going to make that money back. But again, me being scared of that initial
Outlay. Yeah.
and yeah, I just
Yeah.
realized that I was when I was really mad at myself once I looked at I said, "Damn, I should have did this 5 years ago." But
Yeah.
better now than never.
So
Live
is
and
that
Still
learn.
young.
yes, so is that franchise fee? That's an annual fee?
Yeah,
Or how does that work?
there's a one-time fee, and then there's an annual fee that you pay um, each year. Towards that goes towards your marketing, and if you do bring someone else on, you have to pay fees for that. So it definitely pays the cost to be the boss.
So you
Yeah.
mean partner or like you bring someone on? You mean like having a partners?
Yeah, so basically, I could bring someone on kind of like how I did with myself, how I initially started, where I can give them a certain percentage and I would get the other percentage off top, and kind of teach them to be like me. But the problem is I haven't found someone like me yet, that's as passionate and
Mhm.
as much of a go-getter as I am. So that's the only reason why I haven't expanded out. Really want somebody to treat the business as if they love the business,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
not someone who's just trying to get into the travel agency just to get discounts. Because if you're doing it that way, you're going to lose money. If
Yeah.
Well,
you're,
they're not committed. They're not dedicated to the cause
Exactly.
like you are.
Exactly.
Not passionate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in a
Yeah.
way, Steve, what you're looking for in terms of a potential or prospective partner is basically the same as a job description for what you're doing now. Is that accurate or?
yeah,
Yeah.
that isn't accurate. I want someone who wants to learn, who
Mm-hmm.
is eager to learn and willing to make mistakes, because I literally fell into this business. There was quite a few mistakes, quite a
Uh-huh.
few that cost me money. And, I'm willing to say, hey, you know what? I will suck it up and deal with the financial,
And move
ramifications
on.
and
Mm.
move on. You learn
Mm-hmm.
from it and you move on and you try not to make
Mm-hmm.
that mistake again because, anything that costs you money, it aggravates you. Anytime you
Yes.
lose, aggravates you. And so you
Yes.
don't eat that.
Yeah.
No. No. So that's so basically you're a graduate of the higher division of the School of Hard Knocks.
Oh yeah. I've
You're a,
had
su-
Yes.
you're a
And that's the
survivor.
best one actually, because
Yeah, a survivor.
that's a highly motivational right there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you're committed, that gives you the desire to keep growing and to
yeah.
keep moving forward. So that is great.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't pass, my mistake on to the client, because then if you have to come back and say, hey, I know that price we agreed upon, it's actually changed because of something that I did or something that I
Mhm.
did not do. And
Mhm.
so you just have to suck it up and try not to make that mistake again.
Now, I have a question. You mentioned that some people do not have passports, so they can travel without a passport?
If you're on a cruise and you are doing what's called a closed loop cruise, so that means you're ending in the same country that you left. You can go to those different countries. However, you cannot fly without a passport, and most countries require,
Oh.
or your passport expires, in order to travel. So I always, with all my clients, I get a picture of their passport, to double
Mhm.
check, make sure, um, everything is up to date, make sure it's not going to expire, make sure that the names, which is very important because I had a mistake like that where someone said, oh, it's written as, X, Y, and Z. And it turns out that there's an extra initial there. And
Oh,
airplanes, you can't name change. Only certain airlines will let you name change because a lot
yeah.
of times you have to drop the ticket and they have to re-ticket out your airline, and if the price has changed, then you're gonna have to pay that extra price.
To
Oh man.
clarify though, when you say closed loop cruise, passport isn't exactly needed, but if you disembark or there's a in countries X, Y, and Z, you get off that boat, won't it, does that trigger a passport or
No, no,
no?
your
Okay.
sign and sale card, lets you, pretty much is your validation to say that I'm an American citizen. I'm only here for X amount of hours, and I'm gonna come back, in X amount of hours to get back on the ship. So all you need is a birth certificate, to cruise.
Okay.
So if you travel outside the United States, I imagine most of your customers originate from the United States, and then they say, you know what, I don't want to get back on the boat. I don't
Well,
want to.
I had that happen, but I mean, if you don't want to get back on the boat, that is on you. But best of
Okay,
luck to you.
that's when a passport may be necessary for them to fly out of that country back in the
Right.
United States. But
Because
that's
I
not your
think
concern, though, at that point.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's a big thing going on right now with Carnival. Two ladies went to Mexico. They rented a scooter. Of course, they've never rented a scooter before, but their first time out of the country. They got on the scooter, and unfortunately, they were in an accident. They were in a hit and run.
uh-oh.
So they did not have passports, only birth certificates. So it's a whole big thing on the news right now where, Mexico won't let them leave without, the proper money to pay for, the surgery that the girl had on her leg. And, the parent is saying that she's going to come to Mexico and try to plead with the consulate to try to find a way to get her daughter home. So
So the ladies basically they hit and run a young Mexican girl.
no, they were the ones that were hit. They were on the scooter. So someone hit
Oh,
them.
somebody hit them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
So one of the girls has a passport, the other one doesn't. But of course, she doesn't want to leave her partner there. So
Yeah.
I don't
Wow.
think they're going to get home. Oh, definitely.
Well, another rule here, a Stevie rule: do not leave this country without a passport. Period, because you don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. So
Yeah, that sounds right. That
Yes.
sounds
so
right.
all our viewers and listeners of this podcast, don't do stupid. Get your passport. That's what Stevie said.
Right.
Get your
Yes.
passport, brother. You
Yes,
you will be having a
definitely.
new life in your new country.
Yeah.
Now,
Right? Okay.
yeah, that sounds like wisdom. That's real
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
raising
Yeah.
the cane
That's
talk.
raising the cake. Woo! Yeah. You know what? Personally, I would be scared to leave this country and be in another country without a passport.
Yes,
I,
definitely.
I would just
Oh,
have
yeah.
fear. That would be
Yeah.
absolute fear because you don't know
Yeah.
what's going to
Exactly.
happen. You don't know what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
well, in fact, depending upon certain countries, even if you have a passport, look at Brittany Griner, who was held by the Russians for
Yeah.
10 months, and look at that Wall Street Journal reporter, Evan Gersovich. He's still in custody after being detained in March of this year. And then you got all the Iranian Americans that are in limbo right now. So, you know,
Yeah.
now
I
do,
would read up
yeah,
on the culture, know what you can and cannot take. No, you cannot take your cannabis in. It may be legal.
Yeah. Want to take some weed in another country, huh? Okay.
so So if I want to start my this is hypothetical because I don't do this, but if you wanted to start, let's say a marijuana plant in Moscow, you, you're taking your chances.
Yeah.
So I
Or
think that is good that what you're recommending, Stevie, is that a person who wants to travel, they need to do their due diligence in knowing the laws. I mean, at least what's the culture there, like we talked about
Yeah.
before they do things that are inappropriate that can get them in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had some clients who went to Dubai, and I warned them up front that Dubai is a very dry country. And what I mean by that is alcohol is not prominent. Hard alcohol is absolutely not prominent. And also PDA is not allowed in public, and of course you have to cover yourself up. And I think that they tried to bring America to Dubai, and they learned very quickly. Nothing, of course, happened, but they were warned by the locals that.
Could you explain PDA? Could you explain?
Sure. That is public displays of affection. So, hand holding is not allowed. Kissing is not allowed. You're allowed to do air kisses, which is a form of a greeting. But yeah, absolutely no public displays of affection, even if that's someone you've been married to for the last 32 years. It is just frowned upon, not allowed.
Okay.
That's good to know.
That is good to know, especially if
So-
you're booking that Valentine's Day vacation, right?
So people, no drinking, alcoholic beverages, or just hard liquor, or is it just all alcohol, or
Good
wine,
question.
or beer,
They light beer.
light beer? Okay.
Their kind of wine, which is not a kind to get you drunk. But yeah, there's no hard alcohol there.
So anything that will alter your mind, that's possible to alter your mind. Okay, that's going biblical then. Okay. No,
Yeah.
What
nothing that
about
can
for, like you were
Okay.
mentioning, for females? I know that in the Arab world, females are a separate group. So do you walk behind them? I mean, what is their culture there?
Walk alongside them. However, you must be fully clothed, meaning
Mm.
no exposing of the neck, shoulders, or legs.
Okay.
And of course, you're in a very arid desert country, so that might be a shock to a lot of people with how to dress accordingly and still not pass out at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's nice to know, especially for you folks that love hard liquor. You won't be going to Dubai anytime soon.
Yeah, there will be no
Yeah.
no, not like that.
And
Yeah.
I imagine if you get caught doing that, the passport won't really help you, will it?
No, the passport
Yeah.
will be confiscated, and you will be subject to you'll have to see a magistrate, and then from there they're going to decide your punishment, whether it's deportation or if you're going to do some sort of time there and then get deported. But either way, you will be exiting the country fairly expeditiously.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess the kinder approach would be just deportation. You'd want to be deported under those circumstances.
Yeah, you don't want to stay and
Now-
get punished, I imagine, in that country.
Now, see, here's the other. There's the most important part. Have travel insurance, because now your flight has now changed and you're going to have to get on another flight. You're going to have to pay those flight change fees to the airline in order to get home, or else you're going to be sitting in a room until it's time for you to actually depart on that flight.
That's a very
Wow,
practical
that's
consideration.
excellent.
Yes.
But the safest thing is don't commit crimes in foreign countries or even in the
Yeah.
United States too.
But maybe I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but what he was saying, that a lot of people they don't think that drinking is a crime, but in those countries it is.
but
So you
that-
just have to again.
you have to do your homework.
Yes.
Stevie says, but the homework is on you, right? And to ask
So-
the questions too, right?
So people who are listening, you need to contact Stephen Jones. So before you
Yeah.
go, book with him, and he'll be able to guide him.
Yeah, because and what that is interesting about it, and Steve has given us some very practical um, markers for the research and for acting in an intentional manner, is that you can't have this America centric or just a Western mindset thinking that our cosmopolitan notions are universal, because they aren't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna get fooled very, very quick because they're gonna look at you and they're gonna shake their head and they're gonna say, "Sorry, your bullying doesn't work here."
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and what you said, Stephen, in terms of Dubai specifically, it resonated with me when I went to see one of those Sex in the City movies, and Samantha, who's the uh, middle-aged cougar portrayed by Kim Cattrall, um, had some type of PDA episode in Dubai and got into some trouble with the local authorities. So it's actually been featured in popular cinematic culture.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
yeah. Um, it is a all for one and one for all type of culture, where everyone is gonna assimilate. There's not as much, freedom as it is here. So, those are things that we as Americans, just have to respect when we go to other countries, is respect their countries, respect their
Right.
values,
Right.
very sure, and you know, and
Yeah,
enjoy the
Yeah.
living.
So you don't have to accept it. You just have to respect it by following their rules. And yeah. So yeah, you gave us a wake up call, and everyone watching and listening to this, to do your homework.
yeah.
Hmm.
But you do your homework here or in a sale over there, maybe.
So
Hmm.
Michael, what you said was very interesting, because in a way you could say that acceptance is respect.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Because it doesn't mean agreement, but it means that
Right.
Yes.
you
Right.
acknowledge that what they have not only has consequences for you, but it exists independently of our own cultural preferences and value
Hmm.
systems.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
this
Exactly.
is yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's correct. And this is no way in saying not to travel to Dubai, because I had a manager and her mother go to Dubai, and they showed me pictures, and I said, "Oh wow." And I looked it up and said, "Oh wow, this is a nice place to go."
yeah,
So you just and I remember her telling me, they, as soon as they got there, they had the neck and the shoulders, and they were just reminded, they weren't carted off to the prison. They were
Yeah.
just advised, "Oh ma'ams, you just have to cover your neck and your shoulder." They were on the airplane, they came through, and it was no big deal. They complied immediately.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
think she said they had to go buy a sweater. They had something right then and
Mm,
there. They went to their mall, and that was it.
okay.
And
Hmm.
so they took care of it. So yeah, I mean, we're not to diminish Dubai at all. That's a place to go. It's a
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice place
So,
to go.
so Stevie, do you have a website, or how will the our listeners can contact you if in case they would like to travel, or talk to you?
Sure, you can go to www.jonesforavacation.com.
Is
Okay.
four spelled out, or is it the number?
It's FOR, so it's Jones FOR a vacation.com.
All right.
Okay.
And you can check out locations, you can send me an email. You can, find a lot of travel tips. It's a really all-in-one site to kind of be a nice little jumping off point, starting point
Hmm.
to what somebody may want to do.
So I'll definitely post that in the description when this is posted on YouTube, and also we will spell that out for our Spotify and iHeartRadio and Amazon Music and etc. We'll spell that out there and post that for you. And it was a big insight today on travel.
Yeah,
Yes.
Definitely
very much
a
so.
lot
Love
of
that.
take. I mean, the whole show was a takeaway. So I was writing notes the whole time. So I'm gonna make sure
Yes.
to
Yeah.
put that in social media there. So,
Mhm.
and talking about social media, I know you said your Instagram and Yelp and so that has that helped with the marketing and promotion?
Yeah, definitely. Instagram, which is Steve Jones Vacations.
Steve
Mhm.
Jones Vacations.
Yeah, Steve Jones
Okay.
Vacations. A lot of people, I constantly post every day. I wasn't posting every day in the beginning, but I call it passive marketing. This is something that I learned through different marketing courses, is that the
Mhm.
more that you're seen, even if someone never clicks on your link, but as long as they're constantly seeing your content, it triggers something in their brain. Even if you
Yeah.
just your finger up, you see a
Right.
location, you see a vacation. And I've had people inbox me like, "Hey, I've been a fan of your page for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm ready to book a vacation." I mean, we've literally never spoken before, and all of a
Mm.
sudden they're just ready to book, because you just never know when that inspiration might
So
strike.
Yes.
I believe
Yeah.
it provides a credibility and a trust factor even before you speak with them. They said, "Oh, I see him
Yeah.
all the time, so
Yeah.
obviously he's legit, and I like what he has to say." And
Exactly.
you already have a relationship before you really have it.
That's
Mhm.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
our conversation is, "Hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to book this vacation," and they just like your page and they see your posts.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, what's your favorite cuisine of all the places
Oh,
that
good
you have
question.
visited as a traveler and as somebody
Uh-oh.
acquiring
Oh,
information?
Uh-oh,
yes.
that's a big question.
Oh, real
That's
talk.
a loaded question. Let me think about that one for a moment, because I've had a lot of interesting cuisines across many nations. Ah, I would say paella.
Oh,
Oh,
Spain? Is that
See,
Spain?
I
I
was
Is that
love.
telling
Spain?
you.
We
Is that
love
Spain,
paella.
Stevie?
We love paella.
Place in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
It was a place next to a train station. It was really, really weird. It was a restaurant, and as soon as you come out of the train station, there's a restaurant. So it looks kind of like a New York subway style restaurant.
Uh-huh.
A nice little open al fresco cafe. They had tables outside,
Hmm.
and we were just like, let's just stop in. Um, there were literally two people working there, the cook and the cashier. That's it. There were
Oh,
just the two people. And we sat down. The cook came out and greeted us, and I'm like, wow, I've never had this type of special treatment before. And we had heard about paella, and we were just like, what kind do you suggest? Because we've heard so much about paella.
yeah.
And we have been searching for that paella high ever since. It was so good. It was
Uh,
so that flavor, and I can't explain,
Hmm.
because they get a good crust on the rice, as it's actually seared to the pan, but it's
oh
actually,
yeah.
so it's burnt, but it's not burnt, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah.
it has the seasonings, but it's not a complete char. That's what makes a good paella. Because like I said,
Wow. I can't wait.
it was
It's
great.
like that cacao at the bottom of like a skillet.
Yeah,
Kind of like I think that's what I'm imagining as you describe it.
So the
yeah.
paella, it's rice, right, with seafood,
Uh
and
huh.
in some of them they have like meats also in there. So there's different types that they make, but it's also the saffron that they put in.
Yeah.
They put
Yeah.
so it is delicious. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
give a shout out to the local one that you go to. Can you give us the name?
It was called El Busca Trufas. El
Busca
Busca.
Chufa?
Yeah,
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
It was put it
really
this
a
way. It was
Brusca
so
Trufa.
good. I had to instantly add them to my TripAdvisor trip list, because certain restaurants, I'll start a list of
Oh,
Uh-huh.
the restaurants that I go to, so that
Uh-huh.
way, if something was outstanding, I definitely tell people about it. So please use TripAdvisor lists to actually create
TripAdvisor.
Okay.
of
Mhm.
places that you may want to go or places that you have been that kind of stood out to you.
So in your website, you could actually have that, or
No, this is
oh,
something that's on TripAdvisor's website where you can
Yeah.
create a list, of
oh,
restaurants to go to, different excursions you may just kind of want to, just places of
Yeah.
interest.
okay,
Yeah, I've seen that TripAdvisor before. I
okay.
really never use it, but I've seen it where it said gave you an
Mm.
option where you could create a list like
Oh, good.
Stevie
I
said.
didn't
That's
know
cool.
that.
Yeah,
That's
I've
Yeah.
good.
seen that. Yeah, like
And
if
to
you,
me,
yeah,
the best about Europe was the wine. Oh,
the
the wine.
wine.
Yeah.
What kind of
The,
wine?
the wine is cheaper than water. That's what's crazy.
So
I
wine,
yeah,
red wine, white wine, or
my wife, she is a red wine drinker. I'm a white wine drinker. They were both equally as good. I mean, it's just something about European wine. It's chef's kiss. Really, really good.
Now, speaking just, idiosyncratically, I like Gewürztraminers and Rieslings as my white wines of choice. What are your preferences?
Ooh. Um, I'm partial. I know this may be not very taboo, but I like a good rosé. I
Okay.
really
rosé?
Oh, we like
Rosé?
rosés.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
something light and floral, something that pairs good with seafood because that's
Yeah.
But if I'm in a steak mood, I'm definitely a red wine guy. But
So
for
you're
white,
predominantly white. You know what? We mirror that too because I'm more white. My wife is red. But you're right.
Yeah.
If you're eating that 3-inch steak, you may want to switch to the red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what
Sure.
Well,
kind what did you oh go ahead, Sandra.
no, I think that for me it's based on the food. So if it's fish, seafood, you have to go with the white because it's a good mixture, the flavors and
Mhm.
all of that.
That's
The
true.
meat is the red, so I would love to with a Gewürztraminer or a red wine, and it goes well to digest the meat. So
Yeah.
it all depends of what, but yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with
Hey,
both.
hey, Stevie, what's your favorite fish?
ooh, I had a grouper, and I've never had grouper before till I went to Europe, but it was really good. I would say
Oh,
groupers.
Grouper.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had it. I never had that. Maurice, you ever had that?
I haven't. No.
Hmm.
Uh-oh. The
I need to
world is
try it.
over if Maurice didn't have it.
I need to try that.
Yeah, it's a
You know
very
something? I'm
like
like they know, like they've heard me say, I think at least once, I'm on a seafood diet. When I
I've heard
see
you
food, I
for
eat it.
40 years say it, Maurice. 40 years. 40 years.
Who's
That's when we
counting?
had
With
that's when we had
everything.
afros. We had
This, this
afros at the time with the Jackson 5 and when he started saying that.
actually, I was thinking it was like maybe during the Johnson administration.
Yeah, who's
Still a
that?
So
kid.
Yeah,
that means
okay.
that you appreciate all kinds of food. That's what
That's
he's
true.
Yeah,
telling me.
That's
So,
true.
which
That's
is
true.
that's
good.
good. Hey,
Somebody, if I was ever held captive, like one of the people we were talking about earlier today,
yeah.
and offered the local cuisine, I think I could adapt fairly well. Just don't add the gratuitous torture. I don't want electric shocks and castration. I don't want that. You know.
So so you heard it on
Ah,
you heard it on
Maurice.
Raising the Cane. Avoid castration, man.
Always. That's number
Follow the
one.
rules and the laws of the country where you're at.
Exactly.
Don't come back less.
Man, no,
You know
Don't
hey,
don't.
Steve, you come back a little lighter.
That's
Right.
right. And don't get
Little lighter.
stoned. Don't get stoned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either drunken in the wrong place or like having rocks hurled at your head.
Yeah, don't get
Yeah.
stoned either way.
Yeah.
No. Do your homework. Do your homework.
yes,
So
definitely.
anyway, so anyway,
Okay, Stevie saying this is going the wrong way.
They've gone too far this time. They've gone too far.
let me tell you, Stevie, it's in the name, Raising the Cane. So we have to raise up some controversy or something unique
Hey, I
because
love
that's what we do. We're being
That's
who
what we
we
do.
are. What we do. It's how we roll. It's how we roll.
Exactly. That's the only way
Well,
we know how.
we may need counseling from your minister after this, but yeah, them Cane boys, you get them in,
That's
Steve.
right.
I heard that podcast. You get them in.
yeah.
Are you saved?
Hallelujah. So anyway. So
Or
anyway.
awesome Lakem, if for our friends in the Middle
Okay.
East.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we enjoyed this this podcast, this show. Very enlightening. Didn't you guys agree that we
Oh,
came
yes,
out a little
definitely.
more,
Yeah, exactly.
lot more knowledgeable? And
Yeah,
we'll have to have Stevie on again and follow up in a little bit. And
Yes.
Yeah.
and maybe he can hire us. He may say, not after this show, huh? I think I believe all of us join here today enjoy travel as much as you do. I would have to say we all have been somewhere in different parts of the world, and you're probably more passionate because you do it for a living by definition. But I think we're a close second. We love travel, and we travel not necessarily every year, but maybe local or regional, but we do some form of traveling. We just love it.
You guys just got back from Tahoe.
Yes, I was in Tahoe in Nevada. We went to Arizona in August and Nevada and Arizona. And so we do some level of travel state to state, and we are planning on country to country again. So that's a little more planning because you need, bless you there, you need more financial resources to leave the country and have fun. We don't want to go over there broke and say, I'm sorry, and be passing the cup around. But
yeah, we're homeless in Hamburg.
Homeless in Hamburg.
And speaking of finances, that is one of the things that I do offer my clients when they book through me is a plan.
What? I'm sorry. What was that again, Stevie?
A payment plan.
A payment plan. Great question. Yeah, that's great. That would have been a great question.
Yeah, way you don't have to put down, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 at once. We can put you on a very easy payment plan where you can pay it every month, every 3 months, however you want to do it.
Nice.
Has to be paid 60 days before you actually vacation. And so it's definitely very affordable. So a lot of people think that traveling is not affordable. It's very affordable.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
That's good. That's a good thing for all our listeners, because a lot of them, they don't have the whole amount, so they could start now for next year.
That's right.
Yes, because once you lock in the rate, especially with flights and everything, prices go up, inflation goes up, recession goes up. It's recession proof, so that way it locks you into a certain rate.
So what's more of a percentage of a down payment that you expect? A percentage?
I would say maybe about 10 to 15%.
15%. Okay.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. So it's very reasonable.
That's doable for most. I think for most people. I mean, 10%, 15%. That's very reasonable.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And you can work that around your pay schedule. Just however your finances work. Because times are hard for all of us. I don't think there's not one of us on this call right now who has not felt the cold kick in the gonads of inflation.
Yes,
man, that's right. That's right. You don't need total
well said. Well said. Well said. The gonads. I understand.
Yeah, we know gonads.
And for some of you, that is not a singing group, a duo. Well, I guess it's a duo.
It's
a duo, but not a singing group.
It should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the payment plan, as long as we're on that economic and financing issue, I mean, now some people are old school. Do you still take checks, or do you go like credit, debit, crypto? How do you do that?
So it is credit card or electronic funds.
Electronic funds. Okay.
No checks and
no checks
and no EBT. So.
Okay.
Oh man, that is harsh. Okay.
So through sale or any type of
no choice between milk, bread, and Stevie.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
You know, if you have a, digital Venmo card, you can use that, or if you have a Cash App card, you can use
Okay.
that. That's another form of digital currency,
Is
but
it like Apple Pay or things like that? Or
no Apple Pay.
Yeah.
But if you have a
No.
PayPal card, that will work as well.
So PayPal,
PayPal.
but no Apple Card.
Correct. Yeah, because
Okay.
the money directly to the vendor. I don't touch that money. It does not touch my hands at all. All
Okay.
come directly from the vendor themselves directly.
Okay,
That's good to know.
that was gonna be my question. How did the funds get transmitted? And you just answered that. So that was a big question. I was waiting to jump in
Yeah,
there. So
okay.
it goes,
my hands. It's never Stevie takes the payment and Stevie goes shopping. No, no, no. It
Well,
never
something I think it's good for on your end as well, because there's never any, because you know how people can throw out unsubstantiated accusations and then
Yeah.
allegations.
well,
So,
yeah, I gave Stevie 600, not 300.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Never any
Yeah. Good.
That's good. That makes it clean. That's good.
Perfect.
That's
You have a
solid business. Yeah.
great business model here. Great business.
Mhm.
And that's the thing about this segment, because Stephen has not only been talking really about travel, but also really kind of fundamental business principles too.
Right,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
You
never
know.
want anything to touch my hands directly, just from a liability standpoint. I don't want that liability. My job is to help plan your vacation, but not pay for your vacation. So if you're going through any sort of financial issues, that has nothing to do with me. That is directly between you and your bank.
Good for you.
So,
Good for you.
Yes.
so you just
Excellent.
defer them to the vendor or the bank or whoever, but yeah, whatever's appropriate. Okay.
Basically, you're kind of a modern Napoleon Hill.
Think and grow rich. Okay.
Yeah. Right?
That's
Yeah.
good.
So
That's good.
yeah, some business lessons here for all of you who want to do business, not necessarily travel, but some great business tips here too, and travel tips, financial trips, and do's and don'ts of travel. And so we covered A through Z on this.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
good.
No,
Thank
yeah,
you
we
guys.
got
I really appreciate it, and I really hope that your listeners out there can just want to see the world. That's the most important thing, is find out what you want to see and see it, because it gives you a better perspective on your life. Traveling really has changed my life. It's enhanced my life, and it makes me much more appreciative of the little things, and embrace.
yeah.
It just makes you a better, well-rounded person.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Yes, I
Amen.
agree.
So so Sandra, let's go with you. Any departing questions, statements? We're wrapping this up.
No, basically he asked all my questions, and I will be looking forward in the future for a group. I think that was very good.
Absolutely.
That's what we're looking forward to do a group traveling. I was talking to some of my friends, so I will follow up on that and we'll contact you. And thank you for these wonderful insights to not just to me, but to everybody. So thank you, Stevie, and
Thank you.
we appreciate you here.
Thank you, Sandra. Before we get to you, Maurice, there's one question to piggyback. What's the minimum group size?
What's considered a group is 8 people.
8 people.
Okay,
Eight people.
write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on my mind. So group is at least 8.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like that.
So we
So like
we
that
have to find at least
Octomom.
8 people we like, or 2 or 6. Okay.
Well, that
Yes.
Octomom from La Habra, you can meet her and her kids.
Thank you for that, Maurice. That's
Okay.
okay.
Anything
Okay,
less than
we better hurry up.
Yeah.
Well,
Maurice,
I want to thank
Maurice, your
thank
final statements.
I want to thank young Stephen Jones, entrepreneur, businessman, traveler, family man, and great son. And I also want to throw a shout out to our folks in terms of Mexican Independence Day, Salvadoran Independence Day. Today
Thank you.
is you're welcome. U.S. Constitution Day. It's also Citizenship Day, and
Good.
so from we consider ourselves on this program, Raising the Cane, to be uh, obviously we're anchored in the U.S., but our vision is global, and we
Right.
invite one and all, anywhere you are, from Anchorage to Zimbabwe, to tune in, to subscribe, to download, and to evangelize about us. And if you want to,
Yes,
even send us ideas about future topics. So thanks.
definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maurice and Sandra. And for me, I want to thank you. I'm going to be a big ditto. They said everything that appreciate you coming on board the show and being a light of as far as the business, the vacations, travel, and
Tips.
lessons learned, tips, and even just to live life and
Yeah.
Yeah.
enjoy it and
Yeah.
save for it. Traveling so you could see different cultures and historical things around it, like like the Statue of David in Rome, just wherever the pyramids of Egypt, wherever. And so you give us our viewers and listeners an option here of that is possible, that they can travel too. You don't have to be wealthy, rich. You just have to set aside some funds and as a
Mhm.
priority, right? And so thank
Yeah.
you, Stevie, and we'll definitely see about having you on the show again and follow up at some point. And so, but Stevie, you're the man of the hour. Any departing statements, questions,
I
viewpoints?
enjoyed having a conversation with you guys. I'm happy that I'm able to just talk to the viewers and just say, hey, book that trip. If you're thinking about it, do it, because the longer that you sit there and you talk about it, you're never going to do it. So book that trip, and honestly, my key to life is always being booked. So I always say ABB, always be booked, because always have a trip to look forward to. You'll always have a goal to attain, that
Oh.
can give a great sense of happiness. So that is my key to life. So everyone out there, always be booked.
Always
Amen.
be booked.
Good.
And like
Always be
that,
booked.
you heard
Always
it.
be booked. I
Quote,
like that. Too.
always
Yeah.
be booked. And so enjoy, live this life, because it can be short, but it can be wonderful. So
Yes.
anyway, that's it. And please, as Maurice said, please subscribe to our channel. We appreciate your support. And please share it with friends, families, and frenemies. Okay?
Yes.
And
Mortal
again,
enemies, even.
we appreciate you from all over the world, whatever country you're in. We appreciate you and taking the time. And so that's it. Thank you for joining us
Thank
for
you.
another exciting episode of Raising the Cane.
Hey, bye.
Oh, that's it.